Hello everyone and welcome again to our YouTube channel. My name is Daniel from the Okema Empire, and today I'm here to talk about the factors that you consider when you are choosing a state to live in the United States. We know that as a DV winner and as an immigrant to the United States, you will not have that luxury to make choices on where to live and stay initially, because where you live, it will be determined by your host, because as an immigrant and a DV winner, you need a person to host you in the United States, and you definitely move to where your host lives. If your host lives in Minnesota, that's where you will move to. If your host lives in Texas, if your host lives in Maryland or Washington, that's where you'll move to for the meantime. After you get settled in the United States, you have the choice of now moving to a different state, or you decide to stay in the same state. So, what are some of the factors now that you may look at before you decide to either relocate or you stay in the same state? We know some states are expensive, others are cheap. So you look at how expensive is the state you are living in. You look at the transport system. Are the transport system good in the state you are living in? And how expensive are they? You look at the education system for that state, if you have kids or if you intend to have kids in the future. So you must make sure that you look at those. Other things are healthcare. How expensive or how expanded are the health system in that state or the state you want to move to. You look at the job opportunities. Are you likely to get the jobs? What are the minimum job wages in the state you want to move to or the state you want to stay? So you must be very keen on that before you decide either to move or to stay. The other thing that you look at, the crime rate, the cities of the states that you want to move to or the state you are living currently. How are the crime? Are the crime rates so high, so low? So before you move in to those states, you must make sure that wherever you are moving to will be a safe place for you and your family. So that one now takes us to a point where we'll be discussing about the expensive states in the United States and the cheaper states in the United States. Expensive states in the United States in terms of the cost of grocery. How much do you spend on your grocery in this state will be different from the amount of money you spend in another state. If you live in a state where you spend a lot of money on grocery, that state is very expensive. Also, if you live in a state or you intend to move to a state where the healthcare index is so high, the amount you spend on health insurance or another coverage on terms of health, which is so high, that state is expensive. Look at the transport system. The transport system index. If the transport system index is high, where you get that the amount of money you pay in terms of insurance, the amount of money you pay in terms of car purchase, car loans are high. Therefore, those states are expensive. You also look at the houses, the cost of houses and homes. Some states, houses cost a lot of money to purchase or to mortgage, while others, house mortgages are very low. So those are the factors you also need to look at. And even the apartment, if you intend to live in an apartment, what are the costs of the apartment of the states that you are going to live? If the apartment costs are high, therefore the state you are moving to or you are staying in, it is expensive state. And what are these expensive states? Examples of expensive states in the United States, and let's list them now. Number 1 is Alaska. Alaska is one of the coldest states in the United States, and life there is so expensive. The other number 2 is Oregon. Oregon State is so expensive. Then number 3 is Vermont. Is also expensive. Number 4 is New York. Number 5 is California. California is so expensive. If you do your research, you get that the amount of money you spend on grocery in California, it will be so high compared to other states that will be listing as cheaper states. Then the other one is New Hampshire. The other city which is termed expensive is Washington, Seattle. And then finally, number 9 is Connecticut. Those are some of the most expensive states in the United States as per the indexes that I've discussed above. But we also have some cheaper states that you can live in the United States. These cheaper states are like Alabama, number 2, Georgia, number 3, Missouri, Kansas City. Then we have Oklahoma, we have Tennessee City, and Iowa. Those are some few states that are considered to be cheaper, including Indiana and West Virginia. Those cities that we have said are cheaper, also they have what their own issues, what we call as the cons of these cheaper states. So the cheaper states, they may be having some conditions that may make some people not to like them or not to live there. Some of the things that make them have some negative effects are some of them experience extreme weather conditions. Most of them, or some of them, experience extreme cold winters. Others experience extreme hot summers. Others experience tornadoes which are very, very dangerous. Others have got poor education systems which make other people to shun off from those states. These other states that we have mentioned as cheaper, they have their cities. Some of their cities have high crime rates. Poverty index in some of the states is so high. Then I've talked about the healthcare. You get some of the healthcare systems have not been developed well, or some of the cities have got problem with health system. So that's why we say that even if they are cheaper, they also come with their own problems compared to those ones which are expensive, where people tend not to live there, but also these cheaper states also have got their problems. So that's why we say that when you weigh where to stay in the United States, you must have to look at very many other different things. What do you want as a person? More especially those with families. The most important thing you look at is the safety of your family and the school system plus the health care. Those are the things that make people choose a given state because they have children. These children need care, need education, and need health care. So in that case, you pick this state because of all those factors you have considered as a family. Others will say, I want to stay this, I'm single. It's a cheaper state, get man, send home. Others people will stay in a very expensive state because of a given condition that they have looked at. So that's why we always recommend that everyone has got its own taste. And if you like this state, you cannot be able to say this is the most expensive, this is the most cheap expensive. No. You need to be considerate, and you know your like is not my like. So that's why we normally say if you already moved to where your host lives, then that's the state you begin with, and later on, if you like, you can move from one state to another until you get what you want. So mine is just to let you know that those are the factors that you consider before moving or before staying in the state you are living currently. So friends, those are some of the issues that I looked at in this video, which many of you have been requesting us. What are some of the issues or factors we consider? So I've tried to make a summary of the same. So it's upon you now to do much research before you settle in any given area. Thank you, and may God bless you all.